Hey there everyone, and how are you guys doing today? Welcome to another video here on Mobile Cup of Joe. So as you can tell from the title, in this video I am giving you my full review of the Nokia Lumia 635. Now this device is a GoPhone with AT&T's prepaid service, and for $99 completely unlocked, this device can be yours. It's running Windows Phone 8.1, and for that $99 price point with no contract, we're not really expecting a whole lot out of this product, but in the past couple weeks I've had it. I gotta say, I'm pretty damn impressed with what Nokia is able to offer in such a cheap and affordable package. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's see if the Lumia 635 is the next budget phone for you. But before we go any further, please go ahead and grab that coffee cup, fill it up, bring it over, and sit on down. Take a swig for Mobile Cup of Joe. Alright, so with the design and build quality of the Nokia Lumia 635, I gotta say I was pretty impressed with the overall feel of the device. It feels incredibly sturdy, and that's really thanks to Nokia's tried and true use of polycarbonate on a lot of their smartphones. The frame of the device is very flat. You can practically stand this thing on a tabletop, because that's really just how flat the frame of this device is. But then you do have nicely rounded corners, giving you a good solid feeling in the hand. You can really grip this thing and feel like you have a sturdy hold on it. Now on the front of the device we do have our 4.5-inch display, Nokia branding up top, and our little speaker grill right there for making phone calls. Below that, below the screen, we do have a microphone pinhole. Going on to the bottom of the phone, we have the micro USB port. On the right hand side there is your volume rocker and your power/lock button. Up top is the 3.5mm headphone headset jack, and going on to the left hand side there's absolutely nothing at all. On the back we do have our 5-megapixel rear facing camera, no flash to speak of here, some Nokia branding, AT&T branding, and to the right of the AT&T logo is our speaker grill. Now in regards to just kind of general appearance, there's nothing too flashy about the general design of Lumia 635. You can get this thing in a couple different colors. I have the black model, there's also a white, and I believe an orange model available, so you're kind of limited to what colors you can have. For the black model I have is really just kind of like a black slab for your smartphone, but then again, for $99 you can't really complain too much about this. It feels sturdy, has a good feel to it in the hand, and really that in itself is enough for me. And plus, again, with this being a Nokia product, you can expect really great durability out of this smartphone. Now with the Nokia Lumia 635 being a budget smartphone, we really start to see its low price tag come into effect with the display. The Lumia 635 screen measures in at 4.5 inches, and it does have an IPS LCD panel. However, the actual pixel resolution comes in at just 480 by 854, bringing in only 218 pixels per inch. And this means that this screen is not high definition. It is an SD screen, and you will notice right away, even if you're not the biggest smartphone or tech junkie, that the screen does look kind of poor. The actual colors are a bit washed out, outdoor visibility isn't that strong on here, and this isn't too surprising with a budget smartphone, but I really would have liked to seen a 720p panel on here. We've seen Motorola do it with the Moto G, OnePlus put a 1080p panel on the OnePlus One, and those are devices that cost $180 and $299 respectively, completely unlocked. Granted, this is only $100 with no contract, but even if that, I think Nokia could have put at least a 720p panel on here, because in 2014, budget device or not, a standard definition screen is something that's really hard to look at no matter who you are. In regards to its performance, the Nokia Lumia 635 is packing in a Qualcomm Snapdragon 400 processor that is a quad-core chipset clocked at 1.2 GHz, bringing in the lower-end Adreno 305 graphics processing unit, or GPU, and a smaller 512 megabytes of RAM. Now when we're used to having a 2.3 GHz quad-core chip and 2 or 3 gigs of RAM in our flagship smartphones, having these lower specifications is definitely going to bring you down in your general performance. With that said though, the Lumia 635 ran much better than I was expecting it to. And a lot of this isn't thanks, again, to that Snap 400 being a respectable chipset for these lower-end smartphones, also thanks to Windows Phone 8.1, because it is not nearly as intensive on the processor as, say, an operating system such as Android is, meaning that everything still runs fairly smoothly. Your general operating system and your start screen, you can slide through those with ease and not really see any lag at all. Applications such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram all work perfectly fine, And you can even play some fairly graphically intense games on here. Now you're not going to be able to play Modern Combat or Nova, some of the highest end games on mobile, and have stellar performance like you would on a flagship smartphone, but for day-to-day use this is really a very comparable package, and I was actually pleasantly surprised with just how comparable and how practical of a chip the Snapdragon 400 is, because I really had no issues at all when it came to the general performance and speed of the Lumia 635. Now since you do have a lower amount of RAM, only 512 megabytes, if you're trying to multitask and you have multiple applications open, you will see them restarting quite frequently just because your RAM in there cannot keep up with having too many apps open at once. But again, day-to-day operations for a kind of normal smartphone user, there should be plenty of processing power for you. So as I mentioned earlier in this review, the Nokia Lumia 635 does have a 5 megapixel camera on the back, no LED flash, and on the front there's actually no front-facing camera at all. So you selfie takers out there, you're out of luck here with the 635. Now as it kind of runs the norm with budget smartphones, camera performance is not that strong at all, and camera performance is generally the area that takes the biggest hit with these cheaper smartphones. And the Nokia Lumia 635 is no exception to that rule. Images taken with it are fine for uploading directly to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever your preferred social networking website, but don't expect to take this thing to family gatherings or trips or vacations, because the pictures it takes just aren't that great at all. You can't really zoom or crop that much at all, just simply because you only have 5 megapixels to work with, and low light performance is pretty much out of the question. So just be in mind and keep in mind that this is not a good camera at all, but again, with these budget smartphones, that really is never the case. Where the Nokia Lumia 635 lacks for in camera performance, it definitely makes up for it with call quality. Everyone I talked to came through perfectly clear, and everyone I was talking to said I came through very nicely on their end as well. Now the Nokia Lumia 635, you can purchase this thing in the United States with AT&T's GoPhone prepaid smartphone and cell phone service. And with that you get great coverage. In my area I was constantly able to get about 4 or 5 bars, which is phenomenal, especially for the rural area that I do live in. And what's fantastic about the Lumia 635 is that you can actually get 4G speeds on here, which for a budget device is a really awesome thing to have. So with these budget devices especially, you kind of want the bare essentials, you know, making texts, getting phone calls, and some light web browsing. So having awesome 4G speeds on here with fantastic call quality really gives the Nokia Lumia 635 some high points. The Nokia Lumia 635 is packing in a 1830 mAh battery unit, and it is in fact removable. You can take off the back and swap out in a spare battery if need be, which is a big plus for a lot of people out there, including myself. Now Nokia is claiming you can get up to 12 hours of 2G talk time, 14 hours of 3G talk time, and about 58 hours of some music playback. Now my particular case, I was pretty impressed with the performance and the functionality I got out of the Lumia 635's battery. 1830 mAh is not a lot to work with, but you can get through easily a full day of pretty hard use actually out of Lumia 635. Playing some games, checking your email throughout the day, texting, making phone calls, snapping pictures, using a handful of applications. If you're using this thing day to day, you can absolutely make it through a full day, and honestly, if you use it sparingly enough, you can probably get through at least a day and a half, maybe even 2 days on a single charge. So battery life on here is phenomenal and is actually really surprising, especially when considering the price point of this product. The Nokia Lumia 635 is bringing along some different software than we usually see on most Windows Phone products. The Lumia 635 is rocking Windows Phone 8.1, which is the upgrade from Windows Phone 8. Now, although it is just a .1 update, the features and the upgrades that this update brings is pretty substantial. Off the bat, you will see that the user interface is pretty familiar from what you usually see on Windows Phone products. You still have your start screen where you can add all of the live tiles you want and customize them in a variety of ways, both by layout and shape and color of these tiles, which brings you your live and updated relevant information based on what your interests are. And then you can of course swipe over and get your full alphabetical list of all the applications installed on your device. Although it's long overdue, Action Center is a very welcome addition to the Windows Phone platform. Action Center is essentially just a way for you to swipe down from the top of your screen and see a list of all the notifications that have come to your phone throughout the day. Now, if this sounds like a very basic feature, that's actually because it is. iOS has this feature, Android has this feature, but Windows Phone just got a true notification panel, so although it is a long time coming, it is finally nice to have it here on Windows Phone 8.1. Along with all of your notifications, you do have access to some quick settings above your notifications. These include things such as Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, your camera, and brightness control. One downside to the actual notifications on Action Center is that while you can swipe away big categories of notifications, you are still unable to swipe away one specific notification at the time being in Action Center. Unlike many of its counterparts, the Nokia Lumia 635 does have on-screen navigational buttons. Now this all comes thanks to the support of this feature from Windows Phone 8.1. This means that your back, start, and search button now are actually on the display of the phone rather than on the physical body, meaning when you do power off the display, the buttons go along with it, making for a much cleaner looking face. Now while Action Center and the on-screen navigational buttons are certainly very nice features to have on the Nokia Lumia 635, my personal favorite addition to Windows Phone 8.1 is Cortana. Cortana is the brand new virtual voice assistant that Microsoft has and is essentially a blend between both Apple's Siri and Google Now. Cortana is similar to Siri in the fact that it has the sense of humor and personality of Siri, but it's also like Google Now because it has relevant information it lists for you that it thinks you might care about. So when you do open up Cortana, you can swipe up and see things such as the top headlines it thinks you're interested in, the top movers on your watch list for the stock market situation, weather, very popular places in your area you might be interested in, different stuff like that it uses based on your searching habits and the way you use the phone. Now in regards to its personality and similarity to Siri, Microsoft actually got Jen Taylor, the voice actor behind Princess Peach in the Mario games and more famously her role as Cortana in the Halo game series. She actually is the voice behind many of the responses from Cortana. Now more specific feedback such as the weather in your area or a context name is kind of a default robotic and monotone sounding voice, but for more general voice actions on here, the response with Jen Taylor's voice is very natural because Jen Taylor, you've got a real person responding to you, and that makes a big difference when using Cortana. So take a look real quick at some of the prompts and some of the responses you can get from Cortana on Windows Phone 8.1. How are you doing?
Doing well, thanks.
How's the weather?
Right now, it's 60 and clear.
Tell me a joke.
How about a logophile joke? The first rule of Thesaurus Club is, don't talk about, mention, speak of, discuss, or chat about Thesaurus Club.
Find some restaurants near me.
Here are 6 restaurants.
Sing me a song.
Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day.
Open Twitter.
Opening Twitter.
Tell me a story.
Once upon a time, there was a person who asked their phone to tell them a story.
So guys, the Nokia Lumia 635, for what it offers, is a pretty impressive package. Again, this isn't going to be competing with your HTC Ones, your iPhone 6s, or your Samsung Galaxy Note 4s, but for what it offers and for the market it's going towards, I gotta say, this is one of the best budget devices you can currently get right now. Again, this is available through AT&T with their GoPhone prepaid service, or you can buy it directly through Microsoft or through Nokia for $99 completely unlocked. And for that price, I'm honestly considering picking one up myself, just to have a device that runs Windows Phone 8.1 and runs it well. Windows Phone isn't going to be for everyone, but with those improvements to those features Microsoft has added since the original Windows Phone 8, it really is a well-rounded and very substantial operating system, and for your kind of first smartphone, if you're on a budget or you just want to kind of test the waters of Windows Phone, this is a really solid product. So guys, there you go. That is my full review of the Nokia Lumia 635. Big thanks to AT&T for sending this out to me to review. If you have any further questions about the phone, please feel free to let me know what they are down in the comments below. And if you like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you go ahead and hit that like button. And if you super duper love what you saw, I would super duper appreciate it if you go ahead and click that subscribe button. If you want to stay in touch some more, we are on Google+. Circle us. The URL is plus.google.com/plus Mobile Cup of Joe 1 or some weird stuff like that. There's links in the description below. And we're also on Twitter where we're at Mobile Cup of Joe. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.